Hey y'all, so let's get right into the topic. Bitter baby mamas. So how can you tell whether somebody is being bitter or just being a mother? Well, I got two ways for you to find out. And if you fit these two ways, you might want to go back and reevaluate yourself. Do some self-reflecting and see if you're really doing the things that you're doing because you want to protect your child, or are you doing it because of something else? Maybe you have an ulterior motive that you don't want to necessarily accept. So, the first thing, if you are the type of mother where if the father of your children contacts you to spend time with the child, you have to be involved. You may be a bitter baby mama. So let's say the father says, "Hey, can I come get Junior and take him to McDonald's or to the park, and then we might go to the movies." And you're like, "Well, you can take us to the park and McDonald's in the movie." That's just not okay. One, you're setting up the wrong expectations. You and the father of your child are not together anymore, so you need to set that expectation for the child so that they're not confused. If you're going out and you're hanging with him and the child, if you, and it's not understood that it's just we're just kicking it in the name of being together, where both parties want to do it for the child. One, your child's going to pick up on that energy from the father where he's not going to want you there, and if anything, y'all probably are going to be getting into little arguments, hell, even big arguments, because again, he does not want you there. Just because you have a child by someone doesn't give you a right to that person. Even if y'all, it doesn't matter how the kid, maybe y'all were married or whatever. It doesn't matter how the kid came into play. At the end of the day, he does not owe you anything. He doesn't owe you his time. He doesn't owe you that family atmosphere. Your child deserves that. Your child deserves a father. And what's going to eventually happen is he's going to become numb to it. If he doesn't eventually take you to court, to just set up that time, he's going to become numb, and he's just not going to want to do it anymore. You can't force someone to want to be with you. You can't force someone to want to spend time with you. And using your child as a pawn is not only unfair to the father, but it's also unfair to the kid, because we sometimes we associate feelings with people, and eventually it's going to be like every time he has to try to spend time with his kid, he has to deal with your nasty behind, and you want to be involved in things like that. The best thing you can do is to allow your child to have a relationship with their father. If he is not a danger to himself, if he's not a danger to the child, if he doesn't have the child like in dangerous situations, and if it's not court ordered that you have to be there, like supervised visits, then you do not have the right to make him spend time with you and the child. The child has a right to his father, but you do not have a right to the father. Okay. Number two, if you're the type of mother where every time the father gets a girlfriend, you automatically don't want the child around, you might be a little bitter. I understand, the whole not wanting your kids to be around a bunch of different women. I myself have only dated one person since leaving my youngest children's father, and that was like about 6 years ago. So I completely understand, not wanting a bunch of people around the kids. However, these are things that you should, work out beforehand, okay? So if you meet somebody, say, before y'all even have kids, and this person is known for always having girlfriends or chain switching up, then that right there should let you know that if, you have a kid with this person, they're probably going to have different women around the kids. And honestly, there's not a good reason to not have your kid, let your kid be around their father. If these women are not a danger, if they're not, being mean to the child, or, just being extra bad mouthing or anything like that, if they're only hanging around your child in the name of the dude that they're dating, then you don't have a right to not allow the child to be around them. If you the type of person where you don't like that, then don't date people like that. Don't put yourself in a position to get pregnant by somebody like that, because after the child comes, flaws and all, you have to work through it, flaws and all. So if they got tendency to bop around, guess what? You just signed your child up to be around their daddy who likes to bop around. If there's a court order set up and you find out that he got a new girlfriend or whatever, and you decide not to allow your child to like have their visit that they're supposed to have, you could get sent to jail for that because that's violating the custody agreement. We have to get to a point where we are not so emotionally involved in things and operate off of our emotions, because you may be able to hurt the father for some time, but the person who really suffers the most is the child. And you really have to sit back and think, is my emotions and my anger and me getting even more important than my child having a relationship with their father? And that really, honestly, that's where you get your answer on if you are a real mother or not. I understand how easy it is to be angry and I'm just speaking from my own experience, honey. I had kids, I should have been left, and I've been wasted all this time, 5 years, and for nothing, like for absolutely nothing. And it's easy, to want to operate out of emotions and operate out of anger, but you have to understand that if, like I said, the person is not a danger to the children, if they're not a drug addict, if they're not an alcoholic, if they're not abusive, if they're not any of those things, you, for no reason, you don't have a right to do that just because you're the mother. Yeah, we play a very important part in our kids' life. We're the mom, we do all these things, we carry the child, and we do great and powerful things, but we would not be a mother without the father. So that child is half of you and that child is half the father. And, the best way to ruin a relationship with your child is to do things to be spiteful to the father, without really understanding how this affects the child. Because in the long run, we all realize what the heck's going on. I mean, I know for myself, my mom kept me away from my biological father to be spiteful. And was he a sack of nothing, no good, da 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 da? Yes, he was. He was all that and then some. But did I have a right to find that out on my own? Yeah. Was she doing that to protect me? No. She was doing it to be spiteful, and he was spiteful right back to her. And it was a hot mess. And I did not, obviously, I didn't want to be in the middle of it. I get it. I understand. But, we got to do better by our kids. And we can't, even not even speaking on the mother part, you can't force somebody, you cannot bring so much hell into someone's life and think that that's going to make them, it's time for me to get ready to go to school, but you cannot bring so much hell into someone's life and think that that's going to make them go, you know what, she loves me so much, she's making my life miserable, so that must mean she loves me, we're meant to be together. Absolutely not, honey. He gonna go to another woman and find somebody else to be their peace, and you're still going to be bitter and angry, and that's just having that on you. It just smells, it's gonna consume you, and why would you let that consume you? Put your energy into being a better mother. Put that energy into doing that. It's so easy to try to, make your child pick and things like that. And I don't think that children should be involved in things like that. Do your best, and whatever the father does to irritate you, if it's not putting the child in danger in any way, let that man be a father to his kid, and you deal with your anger in a different way. Find something else to deal with that, but don't involve your child in your child's relationship with their father, y'all. But y'all, I gotta get on up out of here because my alarm already went off, and I gotta head to my communications class. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.